Mayor, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for January 21st, 2010 to order. On roll call, Council members Catamagna. Here. Castiglia.
Here.
Sherwinski.
Here.
Boncino.
Here.
Work.
Here.
Conboy.
Here.
Mayor Mola.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Will everyone please rise for our prayer and flag salute? Oh God, our Father, we ask you to bless this meeting which we trust to your fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice and plant in our hearts a keen sense of justice and the greater love for you and our neighbor. Guide us in our deliberations so they'll always please you and bring peace and happiness to our community. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whereas Chapter 231, the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey requires the commencement of each meeting stated by the presiding officer, now therefore be advised the meeting requirements of this meeting have been posted in the Record and the Herald News, and by posting such a notice in the office of the Borough Clerk as well as in a public place within the municipal building. Said notice was posted on January 1, 2010.
Mayor, this evening, under the approval of minutes, we have the regular meeting of January 7th, 2010, and the executive session of January 7th, 2010.
Motion, please, to accept those minutes. Moved by Mr. Catamagna, second by Mr. Castiglia. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Mayor, under ordinances this evening, we have Resolution 38-10, introduce ordinance 10-01 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled an ordinance amending the code of the Borough of Elmwood Park and creating Chapter 10-6 thereof requiring a reflective symbol on structures using engineered lumber be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, February 4th, 2010 at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing is required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Trewinski, second. Second, Mr. Vocino. Discussion?
You want to explain? Maybe you can explain this to us, Rich.
Sure. This,
The engineer is going to...
no. This is engineered lumber. This is the new materials that have been out for many years now. For instead of replacing like a 2x10 or a 2x8 floor joist, they use these wood I-beams instead of steel or wood. They're kind of flimsy in a fire. What happens? They deteriorate fast, and firemen have been having trouble that the fire goes through it so fast that floor collapses before they have a time to get into the fire or into the house. Whereas regular dimensional lumber would give you an hour or two. Now they're going to have a sticker. What they're going to have is a sticker by the meter. So when they pull up to the fire, they'll look for the sticker. If it says engineered trusses, they'll know how to handle it. If they should go in or they shouldn't go in. That's the whole purpose.
Just a warning.
Yeah, it's for the firemen. It has nothing to do with engineering.
Oh, okay.
It's
Any
called
other
engineered
questions?
lumber.
Call the roll, please.
Council members Catamagna,
Yes.
Castiglia,
Yes.
Trewinski,
Yes.
Boncino,
Yes.
Work,
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 39-10, introduce ordinance 10-02 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled an ordinance to amend the code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, Chapter 2, Article 6 thereof, entitled Fees for Municipal Services, to add a new section establishing an outside police contracting service for a fee schedule, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, February 4th, 2010 at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper. The notice of introduction and final hearing is required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Trewinski, second. Mr. Catamagna, discussion? Call the roll, please.
Council members Catamagna.
Yes.
Castiglia.
Yes.
Trewinski.
Yes.
Boncino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 40-10, introduce ordinance 10-03 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled an ordinance to amend the code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, Chapter 2 thereof, entitled Administration, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, February 4th, 2010 at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing is required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Conboy, second. Mr. Work. Any discussion on this ordinance? Okay. Call roll, please.
On roll call, council members Catamania?
Yes.
Castiglia?
Yes.
Chouinski?
Yes.
Alcino?
Yes.
Work?
Yes.
Conboy?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 53-10, introduce ordinance 10-04 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled an ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled an ordinance to establish the Water Department of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to fix the rates and prices to be charged for the use of water and establish rules and regulations for the distribution, supply, and use and protection of said water and penalties for violation of certain said rules and regulations. Be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, February 4th, 2010 at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Chouinski, Mr. Vocino, discussion?
Mayor, just want to explain it to you.
Yeah, this ordinance, yes, I'm sorry. This is an increase of our water, the consumption of water to the residents by 4%. We did receive a letter, I think it was dated the end of December sometime, to increase the water rates by 4%, and that was Passaic Valley sent that to us. So we're just passing along their rate increase to the residents' increase, and this will go in beginning, I guess, in March, the next quarter, when it can be collected. Quite frankly, I guess we're a quarter late because we're only going to be able to collect for 3 quarters of the year instead of the 4 quarters. But once Passaic Valley, keep in mind that our water is supplied by Passaic Valley Water Commission. It's metered when it comes across the river, literally, and we have to pay for it. Any extra water that's used, the town has to pay for it. Now, besides having the increase that everybody must pay for, we had a very bad fire a couple of weeks ago, and we had a huge water break just off the boulevard with hundreds of thousands of gallons of water running down the street and putting the fire out. That fee is picked up by the borough. So we have to increase the water rate to pay for the water that was used on the fire. Nobody's going to reimburse us for that. So that's why we're doing this. Call a roll, please.
On roll call, council members Catamania?
Yes.
Castiglia?
Yes.
Chouinski?
Yes.
Alcino?
Yes.
Work?
Yes.
Conboy?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, on the consent agenda this evening, we have Resolution 41-10, payment of bills, Resolution 42-10, confirmation of checks, Resolution 43-10, confirmation of payroll, Resolution 44-10, authorize Bergen Mutual Fire Aid Agreement, Resolution 45-10, approve engineer's escrow refund, Resolution 46-10, refund in the recreation account. Resolution 47-10, redeem third-party tax lien for Pam Investor. Resolution 48-10, appoint volunteer firefighter company number 2, Michael Sprinsky. And Resolution 49-10, authorize the 2010 animal control contract with the County of Bergen.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Conboy, second.
Second.
Mr. Castiglia, discussion. Call a roll, please.
On roll call, council members Catamania?
Yes.
Castiglia?
Yes.
Chouinski?
Yes.
Alcino?
Yes.
Work?
Yes.
Conboy?
Yes.
Motion carries. Under resolutions this evening, we have Resolution 50-10, whereas Boswell McClave Engineering has submitted a proposal for the preparation of construction plans and specifications and to provide construction inspections for the improvements to Molnar Drive. And whereas the borough received state aid grant for Molnar Drive in the amount of $200,000, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that Boswell McClave Engineering be and is hereby authorized to perform the services outlined in the proposal for an estimated fee not to exceed $18,000 for the design phase and $25,000 for the construction phase.
Motion, please.
moved.
Mr. Vocino, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Castiglia, discussion. Call a roll.
On roll call, council members Catamania?
Yes.
Castiglia?
Yes.
Chouinski?
Abstain.
Alcino?
Yes.
Work?
Yes.
Conboy?
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 51-10, whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park retain the services of a bond counsel at the reorganization meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council on January 1st, 2010, and whereas Rogat McCarthy LLC was retained to provide said service. Now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to hereby approve the attached agreement with Rogat McCarthy LLC of 37 Alden Street, Cranford, New Jersey, for a term of 1 year in accordance with the associated fees outlined in said agreement.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Castiglia, second.
Second.
Mr. Truinsky, discussion. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Catamania,
Yes.
Castiglia,
Yes.
Chawinski,
Yes.
Valentino,
Yes.
Work,
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 52-10, be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that the following change order number 2 and final is hereby approved. Contractor is English Paving Company of Clifton, New Jersey. Contract is EP 1159. Project is the resurfacing of Martha Avenue. Amount of original contract, $148,100.34. Total of previous change orders, $15,713.58. Current change order number 2 and final is a reduction of $22,853.91 for a total contract cost, including this change order, of $140,960.01.
A motion, please.
So moved.
Mr. Cosino and Mr. Conboy, discussion. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Catamania.
Yes.
Castiglia.
Yes.
Chawinski.
Yes.
Monsino.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, this evening under reports, we have the report from the Municipal Court and the Department of Public Works.
Motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Mr. Conboy, second.
Second.
Mr. Work, was it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered. Committee reports. Frank?
Yes, I
Sorry, Mr. Ketterman.
just want to tell the public, tell the people in Elmwood Park to watch their kids. This morning, an Hispanic man with his car tried to pick up a young lady, a middle school girl, and thank God she got away from him. And just be careful. Tell the kids to be careful, not to pick up any ride from any strangers. This is the second time, I guess, in a short time that happens. The police were there today. They were alert. Everybody was searching, and thank God nothing happened. So, kids, parents, watch your kids. Be careful. Also, Mayor, the earthquake in Haiti. A lot of people working very hard, raise money, raise a lot of goods, clothes, and food. In the school, we just organized, there's 5 teachers in our school, organize this thing to raise money with the kids. We also supervise some of the clubs. And we have the Italian Club, the Honor Society, all these clubs in school, and raise money.
Thank you, Mr.
Is that okay with you, Mayor? You're smiling, what the heck?
He's smiling.
No,
I mean,
I'm sorry.
It's
The reason I'm
it's been a long
smiling,
time.
we heard a cell phone go off, and I looked at the 3 councilmen, and they all looked at me. None of them were involved, and I said, I don't have a cell phone. It can't be me.
Okay, we do something for
I
good cause.
apologize. It was
Try
nothing,
to help these miserable people.
it had nothing to do with your report, and I apologize.
all.
Mr. Chewinski?
Yes, Mayor, if I may. First, I'd like to say congratulations to Chris Chrissy, who was inaugurated on, I think it was Thursday, or Tuesday.
Good luck.
We're expecting great things from him, and this council and the rest of the county is looking forward to working with him. On a more solemn note, I'd like to send out condolences to Marine Sergeant Christopher Huber, 25 years old, if you all read in the paper, was killed in the line of duty in Afghanistan. And the county right now has decided to run their flags at half-mast in his honor. And one more thing, just a moment of silence, or just keep in your prayers the people in Haiti for what's going on over there and the suffering they're going through.
Terrible.
On the fire department, February 6th, there'll be a blood drive at Company 4 on the boulevard. The time is not announced yet, but I'll find that out. They've received 60 new pagers, and they'll be happy to hear that their ordinance on the light trusses is approved. They're still looking for donations. Last year, they totaled their budget up that they spend over $101,000 on their operations. And they're going to try and hold the line this year, so I'm going to plead to all the people out there, anybody who can donate, it's welcome to them. I attended the JIF meeting for the insurance with Councilman Keith Works. The claims have been up for the last 3 months. They can't figure out why, but it seems like they're getting more claims than ever. The reports will be on file here with our clerk, if anybody would like to see any of the insurance claims or how the whole system, what's in it and what's not in it. Okay, one more thing. I attended the freeholders meeting last night, and 2 things. If anybody gets a chance to go out there just to see how it's run lately, I know the mayor is a longtime friend, the chairman, Jim Carroll's still there, and if you would have seen the meeting last night, if you think our meeting is run poorly or it's run halfway decent, at the county level, they let you speak for 2 minutes in the beginning of the meeting only. And amongst themselves, when one of their ordinance or resolutions came up for discussion, and you think like how we talk back and forth here in front of the public, if Tom says one thing, like Mr. Hermanson last night brought up something about one of the ordinances, he got to say his piece, and the chairman said his piece, and then, of course, Mr. Hermanson wanted to rebut a little. Discussion closed, the chairman said, and the fireworks went on. So I'm just, if you want to see something that doesn't work as best you think it should, go to the county meetings. You can see what goes on. And by the way, they asked me about the park, and I says, we're working on it.
Good.
Thank you.
We sent, just to comment on that, we did send a resolution that we passed, so they have that. And Mr. Giblin is working on it with them. I think they have their hands full, so we just have to push that.
Well, I threatened to bring you back there, so.
By the way, when I was chairman of the freeholder board, we had the same policy you have here. You want to get up and talk, you got up and talked. And we tried to limit it, but we didn't have an hour, an egg time of 3 minutes.
But you know what's sad? It's in the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah.
Because if you go, oh, by the way, I have all the minutes of their meeting, you can see where your tax dollars are going in the county level, how many studies by lawyers and engineers are being done. That's unbelievable. It's right here. So I'll leave it with our clerk if anybody would like to see it. It's very interesting. But the sad part is it's 2 minutes in the beginning. So you get to the end of the meeting, you want to ask about an ordinance or something, you can't ask.
Thank you. Mr. Castiglia?
Yes, Mayor. Yeah, sure.
Somebody said that already, Mel.
And Mel, if you talked out of line like that, like somebody last night, warned them once, the cop was right there, you're out of the meeting, he told him. Nice lady, which is, basically he said that, not in those words, but
That was a good idea.
she apologized and sat
Mr.
down.
Vocino?
I didn't go.
Oh, you didn't go yet?
Because you're
You know, I should close everything.
Forgive my voice a little bit, I think it's going here.
You sound raspy.
Yeah, I got a meeting with Scott Cars coming up down at the DPW this next week. We're going to be discussing the tree planting for 2010. I think there's a list right now of about 50 homes that are requesting trees in front of their house. Our idea was, as I mentioned last year, we were going to try to pick one street in town and do that street up nice. You know, go ask the residents, knock on their doors, ask them if they wanted a tree in front of their home, and if they did, try to do the whole street all at once. Right now, like I said, we have 50 people on the list. They're going to get their trees first, so we'll see how we can work around that with the street planting. There was a water main break today. You mentioned the water main break on the boulevard last week, the week before. There was a water main break today on Franklin. Our DPW handled that. We didn't have to call a contractor in for that. The county was doing some work also down at Fleischer Brook. They were cleaning up around English Avenue. And I think it was down around Beaumont Place. They took a tree out of the brook. Now the DPW was out also filling potholes. They started, I believe it was yesterday. I mean, that's a winter thing. That's normal. They're using that blacktop patch transporter again that we talked about, that we picked up for them last year. They're getting good results with it. It keeps the material warm. They don't waste any material. If it's in the transporter for 2 days, they can get all the material used up instead of wasting any and get rid of it like they did before when they didn't have the transporter. Christmas trees, that was done. I think Scott said he picked up about 700 trees. That's another good investment we made, was in that chipper. It used to take about 2 garbage trucks to take the Christmas trees down to the recycling center, I guess down in Lyndhurst. Now they run it through the chipper, and it comes to a pile about 6 feet high. So that's a big difference, and it's an investment that's paying off also. I don't know if Lou's going to mention anything about that survey with the energy. He'll be talking about that public services survey. Scott got he got the survey back, I think, but he hasn't had time to go over it yet. So you'll be on that. As far as the planning board, there's a training facility for hockey coming in on Midland Avenue. It's going to be indoor, mainly for training. They're going to have a 1/3 size rink in there and a 2/3 size hockey rink.
That makes one. A third.
Yeah, well, it's two different rinks, though. It's not a full size. So they're not going to be having any games there, regular hockey games. It's just for training. They're not going to have any birthday parties where, you know, people bring a busload of kids over. It's not going to be anything like that, just specifically training. So if you hear anything that it's going to be a party place, that isn't what it is.
That'd be nice.
It's supposed to be high-level training for hockey players, so we'll see how that goes. And the only other thing is the old 1001 Auto Parts over on Route 46. It's going to be converted into a small strip mall, and a Chinese restaurant over on Broadway, 81 Broadway, is getting new owners. That's about it, Mayor.
Thank you. Sounds good. Mr. Boncino?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to start with, I want to talk about a system that our police department has. You have to excuse me a little bit, I have a cold, so I can't really increase the volume too much.
I will have a call next week, ladies and gentlemen, just both sides.
Looking forward to it, yeah.
I'm not as fast as I used to be, but I can still catch a cold.
The police have a system called the computer-aided docket system, and that system enables the police to capture particular information about a home address in the system. For instance, if a resident has a wheelchair or is handicapped. So our chief, Donna Grassolino, asked me to mention that to the public, and for the public to feel free to contact the police department if they want to add any specific information about their residents into that system, and the police will go ahead and do that. And you might want to consider it. I'd also like to welcome, we have our two new police officers, Radislaw, Randy Garlow, and Keith Hartman have graduated from the police academy, and they started work this week, this Monday. You may recall they both served in the United States Marines. I'd like to thank them for their service to our country. They're beginning their service to the residents of Elmwood Park, and I wish them all the best for a successful law enforcement career. The Ambulance Corps is having their installation dinner dance on Saturday, February 13th at the Venetian, and they'll be holding a Comedy Night Beefsteak fundraiser at the American Legion on April 24th. So just mark your calendars for those dates. Last time I mentioned we joined the Sustainable Energy meeting, and we are opting in to the gas auction, which is taking place tomorrow. And there was a strike price of 88.5 cents per therm. And doing the analysis, going back at historical records for municipal gas, we were paying probably on average 93 cents a therm. So we are projecting a savings on the gas if they do award a contract tomorrow. It will be a 2-year contract at 88.5 cents. So I'll have a report probably next meeting on the results of the auction. Of course, somebody has to bid at that strike price, so we'll find out tomorrow. And as Larry mentioned, we had PSE&G audit the lighting in our municipal buildings, and they provided a report today. I have to go through the reports with Scott Kars and Larry. But the program, again, just to remind the residents, if you decide to implement PSE&G recommendations at the building, PSE&G will fund 80% of the cost, and the balance, the 20%, the municipality would pick up over 2 years at no interest. So it's a very attractive program, and it probably would pay back in about 2 years for the borough. So in all likelihood, we'll probably move forward with it. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Conboy?
Thank you, Mayor. My report is actually very short tonight because all I just have to say is finance.
Did you say progress?
Over the next, excuse me?
Did you say progress?
We just actually spoke with our town CFO today. We've already begun preparations. Borough Clerk has also spoken with him this week a couple of times. He's trying to nail us down for some meetings with our department heads. We are waiting to get information. When I spoke with our CFO, actually early in the evening, next week he's been told that we'll start receiving information from our new governor's finance team and some of the guidelines, and get a feeling of what they think will be happening to all of our municipalities in the months ahead. Already, you've probably seen the paper, he made some appointments to the education area. There's the former mayor, I think it was Jersey City, right, Frank Shuttler? Already, we're worried about what will happen in that area and how it will affect our Board of Education here and our school budget, and cuts that they'll be making, which of course will affect everything we do here in our budget. So we're all concerned about what's going to happen across the board, and I just want to, again, continue to assure the folks who catch this, whether on the internet or on the TV, we've been already talking about it. Our department heads are already working on some areas that we've asked them to touch on. We will be scheduling meetings in the weeks ahead, and just keep everybody updated. It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. I just want to remind everybody, don't forget, baseball registration is going on for the Junior Baseball League and for Elmwood Park Little League, girls softball. And I just want to congratulate our winter sports at our high school. Wrestling team is already off and doing a fantastic job. And it looks like the basketball team will make the county jamboree again, it looks like. And just congratulations to all the kids that are working so hard. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Work?
Yes, I just have a few announcements. The Elmwood Park Health Department is holding its next free H1N1 influenza vaccination clinic on January 25th, which is next Monday. The location is going to be Elmwood Park Municipal Building. The time is 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's by appointment only, and you'll have to make the phone number to call for that appointment is area code 201-796-1515. Of course, this is an open vaccination clinic, but you can, the target groups can also still come, and those target groups include children 6 months and older, especially those due for the second dose. And the first dose must have been given to those children at least 28 days prior to this vaccination clinic. Children 17 and younger must have parent or legal guardian present, and adults over age 18, it's open to all residents of New Jersey also. Okay? One other announcement from the health department, all you cat and dog lovers, it's time to renew your license. Reminders were mailed out, and if you need the license form, it is available on the website, which is www.elmwoodparknj.us. And one other notice, the Elmwood Park Homeowners is holding its next meeting next Wednesday, January 27th, 7:30 p.m. at the American Legion. And that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Work, the phone number you gave is the health department, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so that you can call down to the health department if you have any questions about that flu shot. And if you can't remember that number, you can just give the clerk a call and they'll transfer you down. But see if you can call directly. Mr. Conboy mentioned about the budget that we're working on, and we'll be doing a lot of that. But I just want to emphasize to everybody who may be watching this and the 5 people who are here in the audience, our tax bill that goes out to everybody, 6 people, goes out to everybody, is made up of the school, the county, and the local that we're responsible for. The school board comprises about 75% of the budget. The county is 2% of the budget, and the local is about 23%. So I know the school board is going to have an election for candidates for the school board. You have to elect the board members, and then you have to vote pro and con for the budget. If the budget fails, it comes back to the council and we review it. So please go out to the school, vote for your best candidate. You like the budget, vote for it. You don't, you give us a headache. But we've been doing that for a while. But I do want to emphasize that simply because we collect your tax, the council, and we get criticized when the tax goes up. We only have 23%, and we're working on that 23%. We've cut back quite a bit in employees and purchasing and things of that nature. So, you know, to run a borough, you can cut back just so much, and then it becomes a problem. Mr. Chewinski mentioned something about the county and the taxes there. Mr. Chewinski, when I first started on the Freeholder Board, the tax rate to the local municipality of Elmwood Park was about a penny, 1/4%. It's now up to 2%, and it doesn't sound like much, 2%, but the number is big. The actual money we have to send over. One of the councilmen, I don't remember which one, it was mentioned again last week, this week, we put in for another state grant to finish up some more of Market Street. We have one that went up to Pine Street. Now we're putting in for another grant to go past Market Street, past the church, and on the other side of the boulevard. And also, it was mentioned today about the governor doing some good things, or hopefully good things, to try to get the state back into a situation where they're not in debt over $1 billion, over almost $1 trillion, I guess. He mentioned state mandate, state pay. And we've been mentioning that for years. And as a matter of fact, a long time ago, I ran a campaign that we did change it for the state, but they circumvented it. Okay? We said no state mandate. If they mandate that we do something, they have to give us the money to fund it. I would love to be a public official where I can give everybody a lot of good things and then tell somebody else to pay for it. That not only goes for us, but it goes for the school board and the county. Now, if he comes through with a state mandate, state pay proposition, it would be very beneficial for us because we end up spending literally thousands of dollars to do things, and then they want it done and we have to pay. Let me just emphasize one. If we want to clean the brook out to any extent, we have to get a permit by the DEP to go in, clean the brook out that we want to clean out because it's maybe clogging up. We have to get a permit. And that's foolish. That's foolish. It deters a community, not only us. I know Bergenfield's got a lot of land in and around their brook over there. And nothing gets done. It gets clogged up, then we get flooding. So I wish him luck in that endeavor. That's my report. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard, Mr. Kaplan?
Motion to open to the public.
Motion to open the public, so moved.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. Mr. Chewinski, Mayor, the Board of our new governor, who was talking about making some changes where the Board of Education is going to try to eliminate some of these nefarious fees that they've been paying, whatever. I wish him luck. It will help save us all money. To continue on, the water. Is any progress being made to sell the water department to Passaic Valley?
No, we haven't gotten anything back that would justify us selling it.
Wintertime, more water main breaks. It's costing us a fortune, I'm sure, and the pipes are nearing 100 years old.
Mr. Kaplan, they haven't come back with any figure that we would like to have.
Well, perhaps we can bend and give it to them as a bargain. It'll save us money in the long run.
Okay,
we won't have to maintain the water pipes.
Okay.
Have you given any thought to in the multiple housing units in town to separate trash from paper? If we did the recyclables, the town can earn a lot of money.
The recycling coordinator has already indicated to them that they have to do that.
Well, Elmwood Village doesn't.
Well,
It all goes into one.
What we're told, Mel, is that they collect it and then they separate it wherever they dump it.
Yes, but the town doesn't get credit for recyclables.
I think she does get something back for them, but I'll check on it.
Well, if they had separate, I'm sure we could earn more money for the recyclables. Every other multiple housing unit that I've been in, various people, with my daughter, my cousin, my wife, they live in condos, whatever, and they all recycle. There's no reason why we can't pursue this and try to get more income for the town. Public service went around changing all these lights, supposedly to save the town money. They draw less electricity. In my travels through town, I have seen many lights that have not been changed. Whose responsibility is it if you call public service and tell them the night people go around and check the lights? Or
Public
something?
Service didn't indicate they'll change all the lights. They said they'll change most of the lights, so I don't know why they're
Oh,
not.
I thought they said all.
No.
It's because in my travels in town, I've seen it. I'm just curious, on page 10, at the end of the vendor amount account, there's one number that is mind-boggling, and I was just wondering, is it for the month, is it for the quarter? $1,587,896, and that's only for the first 3 pages. There are a few others. For the month, for the quarter,
Mr. Casmark's checking that.
yeah.
Where is that, page what, 10?
Over actually, all of that.
I don't have page 10.
Page 10. Just count the first page as one.
It says it's the first quarter right here.
Please go on up.
First quarter,
It says, first quarter,
right above it, Mel.
right in the middle column. It says first
Above
quarter.
it says first quarter.
We're not looking at this, oh, well, okay then. So there's 1.5 mil there, and then all these other pages get added onto it. I mean, that's a massive amount of money. I mean, if that's what it costs to run the town for a quarter, I think we should really look into some belt tightening, because the numbers are astronomical. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to be heard? Mr. Schwinn?
Bill Schwinn, Beach Street. I want to say a little something about our garbage collection. I think it's gotten out of control here lately. I see people putting out garbage 4 or 5 days before it ever is picked up. And there's a book that comes out every year. We didn't get it this year yet, but when we can go back to the old book, it tells you exactly what you should do, especially about cardboard boxes and everything else. None of those things are being abided by, and nobody's doing a thing about it. People are throwing boxes out there all over the place, and nobody seems, it's out of control. And I think maybe somebody ought to take a good look at this and get it back into control. Let the people do what they're supposed to do. Secondly, public service supplies us with our lighting around here all over town. I've never seen their plan on the way they light up the place, but I want to talk about one place in particular, and that's Beach Street where I live. Very recently, I put in a motion light in my front. And that light goes on, of course, when people when there's motion on my property. Now, the reason I did that is because that whole one side is just as dark as can be. There is no lighting there whatsoever. And what's the reason for that? The first light is in the beginning of the block. The first light. The next light goes all the way down 5 houses. And then they have another light right next door to the next house. So there's 2 lights by 2 houses, and the rest of the street is black. Now last year, not last year, but before Keith got here, I know I mentioned that with our other clerk. And the way I did it, she told me to go out and get the name of the pole, and the number and all that stuff that's on the pole. Yep, I did all that stuff because I thought maybe we ought to have a pole across the street from me. That would have been a good deal. I never heard another word about it. But it is very, very dark. Now, Beach Street is not unique. if you look around town, you'll see that they've made those mistakes on other streets. It's coordinated very poorly, and I thought I'd mention it. Maybe somebody can do a little something about it to light some of these other places up that are completely dark. Now, thirdly, we just signed a contract with, with a control contract, an animal control contract with Bergen County. We paid $29,523. What do we get for that? What do they do for the $29,000?
Any animals that are loose, they'll come in and get them. Any animals that are dead, they'll pick them up.
Any animal that comes, what was that first?
Any stray animals, they'll collect.
Domesticate.
Well, let me tell you something. We got some animals walking around this town, especially over where I live. We got a couple of raccoons.
He said both ways.
But the one thing that bothers me more than anything else, I was talking with my neighbor the other day, and across the street walks a nice little skunk. He just wandered right across the street, went down my property alongside the garage, over the fence, and then he disappeared. That's a dangerous animal.
I don't know what he was doing at your place. He was in front of my house last week.
I got one.
You have skunks over there too?
Absolutely. They're all over town. And guess why they're all over town?
Well, what do we do?
Who bothers them?
You know, I've tried to...
Nobody bothers the skunk. The other animals
I
don't
know,
bother
nobody
skunks.
does, but there's kids that play out there, you know, little kids. They might think it's a
They
little
will not
pussycat or
come. They will not come up and catch a skunk.
I wonder whether the county does anything to try to control that, if you call them.
It's a county organization. The animal shelter is owned by the county.
So therefore, if we call them, we say we have a skunk around. Maybe you could come down and pick them up?
No, they'll rent you a trap and you can put the trap out.
Oh.
Oh, boy.
Now, what do we do after we trap this animal? What do we...
Make
You know what a skunk is?
Make a roast of it.
As long as he can't lift his tail, Mel, you're okay.
When he's in the trap, he's not going to
That's what
bother
they
you.
say.
What are you doing?
As long as they can't lift the tail, you're all right. If you get him in the cage and the tail's down, you're okay. But listen, the county's got a lot of skunks over there too, you know, they gotta get rid of.
They have?
Okay, anything
I
else?
know we've mentioned that before.
Thank you, Mr. Schwinn. Anyone else who wish to be heard? Yeah, Mel.
We'll call the county and see what they say.
It's like the Mel and Bill show.
Mr.
Schwinn.
Schwinn, many years ago, I had a skunk problem too. They were sitting on my front doorstep and I'd come home and clap my hands and they'd run. When the county traps them in the trap, skunks are an endangered species.
Right.
They take the trap to the other side of town and they let them go there.
They don't kill them.
They don't kill them.
No.
They let them go on the other side of town. And when they catch those on that side of town, they bring them over to our side of town. So you can't win.
Right.
That's why there's a lot of,
They need the best.
that's why there's a lot of skunks over there. Attacking sacks.
Certainly settle down.
We got woods, you know, we got river here.
It's another stinky problem we saw. May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Oh, Mayor, we gotta go into executive.
Wait a minute.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
I was typing.
They gotta make a living too.
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231 permits the exclusion from a public meeting in the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body wishes to discuss personnel within the building department, minutes will be kept, and once that matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting. Mayor will need a motion to go into executive session.
Motion, please. Mr. Boncino, second.
Second.
Mr. Castiglia, discussion. All in favor? Opposed, so ordered.
Aye,
Thank you, Mayor.
Keith,
And a motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Mr.
Second.
Chewinski, Mr. Castiglia, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so ordered.
And this is the insurance. In case the public wants to see it, right? No problem.